Hey everyone. Today we're going to go through a quick rundown of the commonly used terms that you'll see at FantasyPros, either on our site or through some of the podcasts you may listen to with tags Bobby Yates and Dan Harris. So we're going to start with our expert consensus rankings, or ECR, or commonly just referred to as our rankings. FantasyPros ECR, or Expert Consensus Rankings, commonly referred to as just our rankings, is the collective opinion of the experts that we track. We generate these consensus rankings based on each individual expert's rankings, and we use a system of rank points rather than just taking the average of the rankings, as we believe just taking the average is a slightly flawed approach to creating a consensus. The consensus is based on the experts that are selected. Now you can see here on June 30th, 2020 for fantasy football that we have 87 available experts, but the rankings that are being displayed right now include 64 experts. Premium users will be able to pick experts here and select which experts they want included, as well as including experts that have been updated in the last 7 days, last 14 days. Perhaps you want to do an accuracy filter for 2019 or 2018 or 2018 draft. So you can say, give me the top 10 or the top 20, 2019. And now we have the expert consensus of those experts. Additionally, you'll see in the expert consensus rankings table the positional ranking. So this is the overall ranking, right? So you have Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and Michael Thomas, a wide receiver number 3. You have their respective positional rankings. So Christian McCaffrey being RB number 1, Saquon Barkley being RB number 2, Michael Thomas being wide receiver number 1, but ranked number 3 overall. Their bye week, the best and worst rankings that any expert has assigned to that player, the average ranking, the standard deviation. So the smaller the standard deviation, the tighter the consensus of opinion around that player's ranking. ADP, which is average draft position, which we'll talk about in a second. And the calculation versus ADP, meaning the difference between the player's overall rank and their ADP. Now you'll see here there are different scoring systems, and we're going to talk about that now. This is the ECR for standard scoring. You also have PPR and half PPR. Standard scoring is a system where the players are not credited or given points for receptions. And that kind of skewed the impact of players like running backs and quarterbacks a little bit heavier than wide receivers and receiving tight ends or receiving running backs. So leagues developed the PPR and half PPR systems. PPR is a full point per reception. Half PPR is a half a point per reception. This evens out the playing field a little bit between the fantasy relevance of wide receivers and tight ends, and especially receiving running backs. Next up, we have what is called ADP, or average draft position. Average draft position is the composite of consensus draft values from a variety of popular league hosts. So we take the ADP from ESPN, Yahoo, CBS, and other sites as they become available throughout the preseason, and we calculate what their consensus ADP is. So the average draft position on these sites is calculated based on where other people are drafting these players in their real drafts. This should give you a pretty good idea of what other people, not the experts, are thinking about players in general. What this means is that if there is a player who is, let's say, ranked number 3 ECR, but their ADP is 7, there's a potential value there to be found because people are generally considering them at a lower draft position, but the experts think a little bit more highly of them. Next up, we have what's called a cheat sheet. Now, there's another video where we go into detail about the cheat sheet creator, and you can check that one out by clicking the link below. But a cheat sheet is basically your customized rankings that can be customized based on your league, including tags such as players to target, sleepers, potential sleepers, players to avoid. And for our premium users, you can add in custom tags as well. This cheat sheet allows you to take your rankings into the draft room, whether it's a real draft or a draft simulation, and draft with your own personalized set of rankings. Next, we'll talk about Draft Wizard. Draft Wizard is a suite of tools to help you prepare for and assist you during your real draft. This includes our extremely popular mock draft simulator that lets you test out a variety of draft strategies in preparation for your real draft, the draft assistant that helps you during your real draft, draft analysis, and the cheat sheet creator like we just spoke about. This also has support for your redraft, auction, keeper, and dynasty leagues. This is our extremely popular mock draft simulator that allows you to try out a variety of drafting strategies extremely quickly. You're drafting against essentially bots, but those bots simulate other experts or other average draft position sources. So you see here the ADP, we can select a composite ADP, Yahoo ADP, Fantasy Football Calculator. And if you're a premium user, you can elect to bring in one of your customized cheat sheets. So I'll bring that one in here and you can start your draft. And here we go. I'm drafting from the second position, and Christian McCaffrey was taken first. Now, in the draft simulator and in the draft assistant, you'll see suggested players to take. Now, one of the biggest questions that we constantly get from users here is, what do the experts agree percentage mean? Now, this expert percentage is the percentage of experts that would take this player with your given pick. So right now, 80% of experts think that I should be drafting Saquon Barkley. I'm not going to disagree with them there. I'm going to go ahead and draft. Another commonly asked question is, what is value-based drafting? So up here, you can say, show me the top VBD players. Value-based drafting is a strategy that attempts to assign values to players rather than just pure rankings. This allows you to hopefully make a better decision about the most valuable player that is available at a specific pick. Now you have three values here: VONA, VOLS, and VORP. VONA is value over next available player, VOLS is value over last starter, and VORP is value over replacement player. We can talk all day about value-based drafting, so here's a link to a great article that we have about what value-based drafting values mean and how to use them. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is FantasyPros My Playbook. My Playbook is a suite of tools to help you manage your team during the fantasy season, including optimal lineups, getting player news, waiver assistance, trade assistance, league analysis, and one of my favorite tools is the multi-league assistant. So here you have a dashboard. And one of the most commonly asked questions here is the matchup rating. Obviously, the more stars, the better. And the matchup rating is determined based on how the position performs against a specific team. So, for instance, here, Lamar Jackson, even though he's a stud, QBs perform moderately well against the Cleveland defense, whereas running backs perform better against the Las Vegas Raiders. And that's it. I hope you found this rundown useful. Please check out our other videos as we go more in depth into a variety of other topics. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments below, or send us a note via customer support, and we'd be happy to get back to you as soon as we can.